Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Endless Courage. So I will be reading two articles, just some information about Charlie Kirk and what tragically happened to him. I just want to say that today is a dangerous time to have a political view and to express it and to represent that view. Unfortunately, there is some mental health going on. All of us have different views on different things, whether it's which milk to drink or which eggs to get. People could go back and forth about different things, but nothing should drive anyone to the point where they inflict violence upon another person based on their political views and what they believe in and what they represent. Who was Charlie Kirk? He was a right wing activist, but he was a father, a husband, a family member. And he was the founder of the nation's right wing youth activist group. And so there is some mental health going on, not just with people that are older, but the younger generation too. There's so much being thrown at them. People that, kids that are either in high school, college. This took place at a college. And, I don't know if the picture that they released of the young man with a hat on and glasses, I don't know if that's the shooter or that's the person of interest, because they took in custody two people but released them. So we don't know. But I know that young people are very, very influential, and they are influenced as well by just the many things that's going on in this world. And people that they believe are being hurt by certain viewpoints, and certain people that they probably feel are being disregarded. But it's never okay to think that violence is the answer, because guess what? You're not just going to inflict violence on one person. You're going to inflict violence on a lot of people, because there's different groups of different belief systems. And if you won't even stop at one, you'll continue to inflict violence. You'll continue to use that as a means to handle a difference of opinion. Everyone has a difference of opinion, but violence is never the answer, no matter what political group you represent, and no matter how you feel about how it's affecting yourself or someone that you love or care about. It's never okay to inflict violence. And so stay with me. I will be going over two articles, and my heart goes out to his family, his friends, and people that knew him. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Endless Courage. So I'm going to be reading an article to you about Charlie Kirk, who was shot and killed at a Utah University event. This article that I'll be reading is from the New York Times. It's called "Manhunt Continues for Killer of Charlie Kirk, Charismatic Right-Wing Activist." Mr. Kirk, a close ally of President Trump, was shot while speaking at Utah Valley University. The authorities were still searching for the shooter with no one in custody. Here's what they know. The authorities in Utah were searching early Thursday for a person who killed Charlie Kirk, the charismatic founder of the nation's preeminent right-wing youth activist group, after questioning and releasing two people. No suspects were in custody about 12 hours after Mr. Kirk, a close ally of President Trump, was shot while speaking at a Utah college campus in what the state's Republican governor, Spencer Cox, and Mr. Trump described as an assassination. The FBI Director, Kash Patel, posted on social media late Wednesday that our investigation continues, reversing his earlier announcement that someone had been apprehended for Mr. Kirk's killing. Mr. Patel said that the person taken into custody had been released after an interrogation. Soon after, FBI agents in Utah asked the public for tips. The person released on Wednesday evening was a second taken into custody by the police and later cleared. Officials said shortly after the shooting that someone had been detained, but investigators later determined that he was not the gunman. Officials said that the person, a local political activist, had been charged with obstruction of justice. Here are some details. The shooting. Mr. Kirk was shot about 20 minutes after he began speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. He had been delivering remarks while sitting under a tent adorned with the slogan, "The American Comeback." About 3,000 people were in attendance, and 6 university police officers were working security at the event, in addition to Mr. Kirk's own security detail, officials said. Rooftop video. The authorities said they believed the shooter fired from the rooftop down into the quadrangle where Mr. Kirk was speaking. Videos recorded before and after the shooting show a person on the roof of the Lasalle Center, more than 100 yards from where Mr. Kirk stood. In one video, an onlooker says they saw someone run across the roof and lie down. In the second video, the person can be seen rushing away from the spot immediately after the shooting. Bipartisan condemnation. Democrats and Republicans quickly denounced the shooting on social media and in Congress, where a moment of silence deteriorated in partisan acrimony. Mr. Trump ordered American flags to be lowered to half-staff until Sunday evening. Mr. Kirk co-founded the youth activist group Turning Point USA in 2012 and had become a fixture on college campuses, where he hosted rallies like the one in Utah that often drew large crowds. He held significant influence in the White House. Hopes for the fast capture of the person who fatally shot the right-wing activist Charlie Kirk in Utah evaporated on Wednesday when Kash Patel, the FBI director, announced that the authorities had released a man he had described as a central subject of the multi-agency manhunt. The subject in custody had been released after an interrogation by law enforcement, Mr. Patel wrote on his X account, adding, "Our investigation continues." 2 hours earlier, Mr. Patel had stoked expectations of a fast end to the search by congratulating state, local, and federal officials for taking into custody the subject for the horrific shooting today. The release of the subject capped a day of shock, fear, and uncertainty over what officials described as a political assassination committee in broad daylight in front of thousands of people who had come to participate in a discussion with Mr. Kirk, 31, at Utah Valley University. The backtrack was a source of significant embarrassment for the FBI director on the day where 3 former FBI agents filed a lawsuit against Mr. Patel that portrayed him as a partisan neophyte, more interested in social media and swag than in the day-to-day operations of the nation's flagship law enforcement agency. That the director of FBI, historically known for careful messaging on fluid investigations and deferring to local leaders, will personally take the lead in releasing information about the shooting, was unusual. It was even more unusual that he chose to post that information minutes before Governor Spencer Cox of Utah and officials of the FBI and local law enforcement were scheduled to provide a first on-camera briefing on the shooting. Moments after Mr. Patel's post, Beau Mason, the commissioner of Utah's Department of Public Safety, told reporters that his agency and the FBI will be working together to find this killer, suggesting the search was ongoing. Mr. Cox spoke next, saying that the authorities had a person of interest in custody, but also that the police would find whoever had committed the crime. In response to the reporters' questions about Mr. Patel's post, the governor repeated his statement that authorities were questioning somebody in custody. Another person who had been taken into custody immediately after the shooting and seen in videos that circulated widely on social media was determined not to be the shooter, the authorities said. And I'll be posting a picture of the Utah Valley University where he was shot and other important locations. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Endless Courage. So I'm coming to you with a story about Charlie Kirk, a conservative activist and close ally of President Donald Trump who played an influential role in rallying young Republican voters, was shot and killed Wednesday at a Utah college event in what the governor called a political assassination carried out from a rooftop. This is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. The Utah Governor Spencer Cox, I want to be very clear, this is a political assassination. No suspect was in custody late Wednesday, though authorities were searching for a new person of interest, according to a law enforcement official familiar with the matter who was not authorized to discuss the situation by name and spoke on condition of anonymity. Two people were detained earlier in the day, but neither was determined to have had any connection to the shooting, and both have been released, Utah public safety officials said. Authorities did not immediately identify a motive, but the circumstances of the shooting drew renewed attention to an escalating threat of political violence in the United States that in the last several years has been cut across the ideological spectrum. The assassination drew bipartisan condemnation, but a national reckoning over the ways to prevent political grievances from manifesting as deadly violence seemed elusive. Videos posted on social media from Utah Valley University show Kirk speaking into a handheld microphone while sitting under a white tent emblazoned with the slogan, "The American Comeback," and "Prove Me Wrong." A single shot rings out and Kirk can be seen reaching up at his right hand as a large volume of blood gushes from the left side of his neck. Stunned spectators are heard gasping and screaming before people start to run away. The Associated Press was able to confirm the videos were taken at Sorensen Center Courtyard at the Utah Valley University campus. Kirk was speaking at a debate hosted by his nonprofit political organization. Immediately before the shooting, Kirk was taking questions from an audience member about mass shootings and gun violence. "Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? The person asked. Kirk responded, "Too many." The questioner followed up, "Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence?" Kirk asked. I'm going to read another article from the NBC News. Subject in custody for Charlie Kirk's shooting was released, as FBI says. FBI Director Kash Patel says the subject in custody in connection to the Charlie Kirk shooting has been released after the interrogation with law enforcement. In a post on X, "I was in total shock. Witnesses to fatal Charlie Kirk shooting recount gruesome scene." This is an article by the ABC News by Bill Hutchinson. As Charlie was taking a question about gun violence in America, a single shot rang out and panic surged through the university crowd huddled around the conservative commentator. When witnesses looked to see where Kirk had been seated at an outdoor event at Utah Valley University, they said he was lying motionless on the floor, blood gushing from a wound to his neck. Witnesses can be heard on the video that captured 31-year-old Kirk being shot, shouting, "Oh my God," and run as people in the crowd on Wednesday began to flee from where Kirk was lying under the tent emblazoned with the words, "American Comeback." Blood was gushing everywhere, witness Sarah Towell, a student at Utah Valley University in Orem, near Provo, told ABC News. "A friend and I ran into a building and ran out and down the street just trying to get to safety." Towell said she was sitting in the front row of the event, a little to the left of where Kirk was speaking, when the deadly shot appeared to come from a distance she estimated to be about 200 yards away to her left. President Donald Trump announced on his social media platform that Kirk has died. Utah Governor Spencer Cox described the shooting as a political assassination. Towell and several other witnesses said security for the event was lacking. She said there were no metal detectors that people attending the free event on the UVU campus had to pass through, and there was no one inspecting bags. UVU Police Chief Jeff Long said 6 officers were working the event, including some plainclothes officers in the crowd, which he estimated to be about 3,000 people. Henry Dells, a 24-year-old businessman from the area, told ABC News that he was about 25 feet from Kirk, who had just finished answering a question he asked about religion. He said that less than 60 seconds after his exchange with Kirk, the commentator was shot. "It happened less than a minute after I was talking to him," Dale said. "It seemed like a waterfall of blood was gushing out of him. It was gushing out of his neck and running down his shoulder and into his left pec. I immediately knew he was going to die." Danielle, a student from Birmingham Young University who attended the event, which Kirk dubbed the American Comeback Tour, told ABC News Salt Lake City affiliate station KTVX that she was close to where Kirk was speaking when he was shot. You just see his neck just like open up, and there's just like so much blood that just came out. I was 15 feet away, and it was really hard to witness, Daniel said. Daniel recounted hearing screaming and people running in the chaotic aftermath of the shooting. I'm like, it's not safe to run. It's not safe to get up, Danielle said, adding that she started to pray, please God, please God, please God, please, because I don't want to die. I just don't want anyone else to die, Danielle said, and I think I just saw a guy die. UVU student Luke Pittman, who also witnessed the shooting, told KTVX, I was in total shock. We all heard a shooting and a big bang, Pittman said. We thought it was confetti, then everyone started ducking down, and then I look over at Charlie Kirk and I see blood coming from his neck. Chris Hutchins, a reporter for the UVU student newspaper, said Kirk, CEO and co-founder of the conservative youth organization Turning Point USA, was talking about gun violence when he was shot. I hope everyone has gotten something out of this. This is just a reminder that violence is not the way.